Hello everyone, my name is Sam Brenner, and I love robots. I started tinkering 3 years ago. During the first Friday in November, I got a free pedometer. Sadly, within a few minutes, it stopped working. Once I got home, I broke it open with a hammer, which obviously was the only tool I knew how to use at the time. Seeing the electronics got me excited, so I took apart other electronics. This time, however, I used a screwdriver. The day before Thanksgiving that year, I took some components and built a small robot, which only moved forward. Even though it worked, kind of, I wanted to up my game. So then I bought an Arduino Uno. The Arduino is like the brain of the robot. It controls all of the motors and sensors. Once I got my first Arduino, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, followed tons of tutorials, and researched all kinds of instructions online to learn what I needed to make my first robot. And then I took that and I wired up my Arduino in an old pasta box. All I needed to do was write the code. No problem, right? Unfortunately, I had no idea how to write a single line of code. Easy fix, I thought. I'd use the example code I found online. However, when all the errors showed up after I copied and pasted the code, I was at a loss. I had to go over the code and do more research so I could make a light following robots. Once I finished PregoBot, I started what I call Mead. As well as being the brand name for a notebook company, it stands for My Experimental Arduino Development. It consisted of 2 CDs, 2 motors, an Arduino Uno, and a few extra electronic components, as well as a ton of hot glue. Mead is a basic obstacle avoidance robot. However, it was a really big step. Even though I was still using example code, I understood what some of the example code I was using meant. After I completed Mead, I spent a few months researching, watching more YouTube videos, reading instructables, so I was able to code, wire up sensors, motors, LEDs, buttons, and various other skills needed to build my first robot. And then I took those skills and made my newest completed robot, Little Blue. Little Blue was, as the name suggests, both little and had a metal blue body. This was a humongous step because I was able to write my own code, wire the robot, and use a lot less hot glue. After I finished Little Blue, I knew all of the basics, and I wanted to do a larger robot with more sensors and more capabilities. And that is when I came up with Metro. Mechanically engineered, technological, robotic operation. When I started to design Metro, I found a perfect metal frame that would be really robust. However, when I got this perfect frame, I realized it was half the size I thought it would be. So I decided to use this chassis as a prototype for Metro. And I want the end product of Metro to be a robot that can go around any environment and not run into any obstacles from any angle. I also want it to be able to talk and understand extremely basic English. One of the things that has made building robots such a long process is the fact that every time I need a part, I have to order it from eBay and wait 2 weeks for it to show up. I often receive packages in Mandarin because everything comes from China. It may not seem like a long time, but 2 weeks is an eternity when at the end of that road is what you need to finish a robot. And this time, I often get impatient and screw things up. For example, running a robot off the table, melting the battery pack, melting the wires, melting the chassis, stripping a screw, frying the Arduino, cutting a wrong wire, shorting out the battery, and then melting it into the chassis, in turn melting the chassis and the battery, so on and so forth. Along with being able to build robots, I've had the opportunity to teach people about the robots I built. And most of the time, I taught with a kit I created called the WobblyBot. Yay. The WobblyBot is a small vibrating robot kit that consists of a toothbrush head, a vibrating motor, an LR44 watch battery, some double-sided foam tape, and an instruction sheet. Once you assemble this kit, you have a vibrating robot that is great for navigating hard, flat surfaces. It is great for teaching, even better for learning, and is a fantastic educational gift. Although, the best part is, they're only $8 at York PA Stuff. So, why is tinkering important? Throughout my tinkering, I have learned how different things work. I've done many things with my robot, but I have more to build and create. However, I'm not the only one who can tinker and create things. If you want to build a robot, go to York PA Stuff and pick up a kit. Learn yourself or inspire someone else to be a tinker. All in all, I love tinkering with electronics, and you should do whatever you enjoy. If that something is electronics or robotics, then you know a guy. Thank you, everyone.